Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Muller here. How's everybody getting along? Well, the upper level pattern, as I showed you in previous videos, we're about to have a piece of that polar vortex break off, and I'll show you more details on that. But we have a massive pattern situation here ensuing. This is right around December 12th. Take a look what comes in the 500 millibar flow here. This could be a tremendous East Coast snowstorm if this does materialize. We'll take a look and see all the particulars. You know, a lot has to come together for this, but take a look at this. You know, this is showing it a bit off the coast, but look at this. If this does materialize, we could have a blizzard situation for some parts of either the East Coast or the Canadian Maritimes. So, let's get into all the details here. And before we continue, I just wanted to show you a sneak peek here. That storm evolving off the U.S. East Coast from December 11th to December 13th. Yeah, this could be a monster. And we'll have to see exactly where the system potentially sets up because the pattern is there to support a massive storm. Looks like it retrogrades towards the end of the period. Let's get into the dynamics. So here we go. I'll compare the GFS upper level flow to the Euro here. Now, as we go through next week, Wednesday, December 7th, here you go. And I'll show you the upper air charts anomalies as well. This really gets into exactly what we can expect. So you have this split flow pattern. Take a look at this jet stream. Now, initially, we're got that ridge in the east that's promoting, you know, that warmer than average temperatures. But look what starts to happen after the 7th here, the 8th, the 9th. There it is, a little piece of that polar vortex breaking off and heading southeastward here. And now watch what starts to happen as we go in time here. This really just starts to congeal. You get this massive trough across the eastern part of the country, ridge developing out west. You know, you still have some troughiness up in the Pacific Northwest, but look at this. This is a massive digging trough, something we have not seen so far this season. Now, it depends on just where this sets up, how much blocking there is up in Greenland, and I'll show you the 500 millibar upper level charts momentarily. But we could have a low pressure form along the coast and propagate either up the coast, out to sea, or just inland. You know, we get these kind of scenarios where we get this sort, and look at how it just bombs it. Now, with this kind of scenario, this would be far enough offshore that most areas would not see any significant snow. Now, just take a look at that. It's almost showing up. I mean, essentially, you got the comma shape, but it almost looks like an eye of a hurricane. So this is a tremendous wound-up storm here. And essentially what the GFS does is wind this up towards the Canadian Maritimes. Plenty of time to watch this. Now, let's take a look at the upper air chart here of King Euro. So, here we go. This is Saturday. You take a look. There's the ridge in the east. We're continuing, but look how things kind of congeal. I can't go out as far here on the Euro, unfortunately, but look, you can see the spin in the atmosphere. This is going to start sending those waves down from the polar vortex that's literally breaking apart. That's what you want to see for East Coast snowstorms. There it is, Friday, December 9th, and there it is, December 10th. So you start to see evidence of it here, that big trough kicking in. Initially, you got this ridge, but look at this, and you got some blocking up here in Greenland. All right, so GFS, there it is. Look at that. Just day one here, we're just showing up with that massive pool of cold air up here at 850 millibars. So let's propagate this, and momentarily, I'll show you the polar vortex, the state of it. Let's see if this can actually load so we can actually progress here. Let's see here. There we go. So take a look at this. As this continues to go in time, you can see it really clearly here on the GFS. This is December 6th, December 7th. It tries to make a push initially December 9th. It's actually backing away a little bit like the Euro initially here. It's actually reloading for a bigger shot. And watch this as we go in time. I can go further out here onto the GFS. Take a look at this. There is a piece of it that breaks off and it heads south. Here it is. So we're going to get pieces of it. This is what happens. So we'll take a look at the massive amount of cold air that's it. This is Tuesday, December 13th. This is where the GFS is exploding this massive system here off the U.S. East Coast. And if this does happen, this could be quite a storm. Look at that. It's winding warm air all the way up into the Canadian Maritimes there. But look what forms behind it. This massive cold pool right behind it here. All right, so let's take a look at the GFS surface map here, see what's going on with any precipitation now. There is some wintry precipitation. Let's take a look here. There it is. It's up here into parts of southeast Canada. So this system, this next system, is going to ride up the Mississippi River Valley. It looks like a broken record here. And I know some of you in the deep south don't want to hear this. I don't think there'll be as much severe weather here across the south. You can see the tail end is a bit less frisky here. However, the northern end here, we got some higher, convective cloud tops here. This is where we could see some gusty winds again. I know you're repeating the same old song and dance that you just repeated here on Wednesday, but watch this. Yeah, this plows to the east. So this is Saturday at 7 a.m. on the GFS. Can't get into the mesoscale models just yet. It's a little tad beyond our capability here, beyond 60 hours. But take a look at that. Yeah, this convective line moves to the east, and we might have this last line that moves through about 1 p.m. Saturday. So things are going to get real gusty behind it here. Take a look. We get some lake effect bands, but they're not going to be, they're going to be really short-lived. And watch this as we continue to head in time here. Take a look at this system here to the south. This is Tuesday, December 6th. Yeah, this is going to be our next system coming out of the Plains and Mississippi River Valley. Now, we're going to start to see some wintry precipitation here to the north. And watch this as we go in time. It differs. I'll show you the Euro momentarily, but look at this. Yeah, this is Wednesday, December 7th at 1 a.m. Look at that. We're getting snow breaking out places like Cleveland, Toledo, up to Buffalo, Syracuse. Yeah, we could be looking at a wintry situation. Now, it doesn't look like this is going to be a major winter storm by any stretch of the imagination, but it's something that may be advisory criteria. This is Wednesday, December 7th. Take a look at this. Binghamton, Syracuse, Albany. We might have some accumulating snow up here in the Northeast. Now, if you're south of Interstate 80 in Pennsylvania, you might have a hard time getting any accumulations. But look at that. We head into central and northern New England by 10 a.m. on Wednesday, December 7th. Yeah, and that does not look like it goes nor'easter on us until it's well up into the Canadian Maritimes. Now, what about this next system here? Let's take a look and see how this evolves. Doesn't look like it really evolves much. In fact, you got two pieces of energy up here to the north and one to the south. These definitely do not phase in time here. And look at that. That pretty much stays. We got a lake effect outbreak here Saturday, December 10th, but that pretty much is nil. Then we start to have this energy. This is the time frame that we definitely want to watch because we got a piece of energy coming out of the Midwest and Ohio Valley, and we got another piece of energy here across the south. Now, let's see how the GFS congeals these together. So as we go in time, here it is. Accumulating snows down into parts of the Appalachians. I told you this winter we could see some heavy snows in parts of the Appalachians, and there it is. Johnson City all the way up towards Lewisburg, just west of Charlotte here. Yeah, look what we got forming off the coast here, this big monster, and it really starts to crank it up Sunday, December 11th here. Look at the snow, possibly in Richmond. This could change, but look how it takes the worst of this storm out to sea. This is something we got to watch because, if this ends up being closer to the coast, this could mean the difference between nothing and a massive blizzard along the U.S. East Coast. I just want to throw that out there because this is something we definitely need to keep an eye on because look at this comma head here. This is definitely quite a system that we need to watch, and it's going to be dangerously close to the U.S. East Coast. Nevertheless, if it does follow this track, it will cause a lot of waves and beach erosion. Look at that. That's crazy. Coming up into the Canadian Maritimes. If it were to follow this track, look at that. Eastern Maine here could potentially be on the corridor here for heavy snow, and we might have some backlash. Look how it starts to retrograde back towards Boston. So yeah, we could be looking at some sort of a storm here if this does materialize. See how the GFS is backing this up into the coast. So if you are in these coastal communities of New England, yeah, definitely want to keep an eye on this because this could be something massively huge. All right, so let's take a look at the Euro's upper temperature pattern here. Let's see where this polar vortex is going to set up. Good to update it from the last video here. So take a look at this. This is Wednesday, December 7th here. We're going to compare this momentarily to the GFS. There's that massive piece of big cold air up here, and that's going to make a push towards the southeast here initially. Now, this is December 9th, December 10th. You see, the Euro is backing away a little bit from bringing this massive cold pool further to the southeast. It kind of brings it over here into eastern Canada. And this is kind of puzzling because this might set us up. The Euro might be delaying this somewhat because the Euro has more bottled up air, very cold air north of Alaska here. So that might be, the precursor of things to come. I can't go further out on the Euro. Let's get into it on the GFS. So here we go with the polar vortex. Yeah, this is essentially right now. So let's go in time here. Yeah, this is where I was showing you the previous couple videos. This is where the polar vortex is breaking into two separate pieces of energy. This is Tuesday, December 6th. So this is what is going to set us up for this massive cold wave, which could eventually lead to massive East Coast snowstorms here. Take a look at this. Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see. You know, stratospheric warming here on this side of the cell. And look what's happening here. You're getting this massive cold that's pushing, you know, to the southeast across eastern and southeastern North America here. And look how it just sends waves down on the south side of this. It's crazy the amount of waves that's going to be coming down the pike here into eastern North America. All right, so we'll start off with the upper air pattern here of anomalies for the Euro. Take a look at that. There's that system. That is Thursday into Friday. High pressure builds in across the east. Now, you're probably like, what's going on here? Why do we have a ridge in the east? We have two massive blocking ridges, Gulf of Alaska and Greenland. This would promote the opposite pattern. Well, keep in mind, there is a delay going on here. Take a look at this. Yeah, the delay is, there it is, December 3rd. So we get a little bit of an intrusion here. This is that center axis of this polar vortex breaking off. Now you see how it kind of pokes its spokes, so to speak, into parts of the lakes in the northeast. It doesn't fully entrench its way in there. See how it pinwheels. Now you start to get towards Monday, December 5th here. Take a look what happens here. This is a massive block. I haven't seen a block like this in quite some time. But there it is here across the east, high pressure being shunted a little bit more towards the southwest here. And let's see if we can actually get this. See how it retrogrades back westward, because this trough can't even move towards the east coast, because we actually start to get high pressure building down towards, this is crazy. I don't actually know what to say. It's one of those deals where the system's going to become pretty backed up here. Now look at this. Thursday, December 8th, Friday, December 9th. Look what starts to happen. The Euro is hinting that something is happening here. Look at this massive high right over Greenland, right over Alaska, Gulf of Alaska. This is signifying to me that something as big is about to happen here on the Euro. All right, so let's take a look at the GFS here. Take a look at this. So high pressure, there's that pattern. You're asking yourself, scratching your head, like, what the heck is going on here? Why do we have a ridge in the east and a trough on the west here? Well, let's take a look. It's that delayed effect we normally get. It's like spokes on a wheel here with the polar vortex piece that broke off here. So this is next week, Monday, December 5th. Yeah, it's showing up pretty much the same as the Euro. They both agree with each other until we get towards, here it is, Thursday, December 8th, Friday, December 9th, Saturday, December 10th. Here it is. It actually is starting to look a little bit more like the Euro on the GFS here. We have this massive trough out here. It's a little bit further out to sea, but look what's forming behind here. This is what I'm really worried about, or excited about. You look at this. This is amazing. This block is actually retrograded a bit further west here. You got a massive ridge out west. Not to say this is the same as like a blizzard in 93 scenario, but I just vaguely remember a massive ridge, you know, developing out in the Intermountain West before that happened. So this is crazy to even think about, but you know, something is big is definitely going to happen here with this type of a pattern. It doesn't have to be this particular exact day or time frame, but something's going on here. There's two pieces of energy. This just massive, it's like a brick wall up here. The system, the whole pattern system is totally blocked up here. You can see it on Wednesday the 14th. What I'm worried about is if this system does form, even if it heads out to sea, it could actually spear back towards the northeast coast here. And look at that. Yeah, that's the 15th, 16th. It doesn't go anywhere. So if we get any sort of storm, it's hanging out here along the east coast and the northeast for quite some time. All right, so let's take the surface map here of the GFS. So yeah, that Wednesday system into Thursday. Look at high pressure, actually. Let's just back that up a second. That went way off the chart there. So this is Sunday. You know, we have that next system. Let's back this up just a little hair here. Yeah, there it is. That looks really reminiscent of the system we just had on Wednesday. Big squall line pushing through with some gusty winds. No lightning or anything like that, but you get the picture. A repeat. And look at that. High pressure builds in. So yeah, you have some gusty winds. behind that as well. But look at this. There's that next system. As I showed you on the GFS precipitation outlook, we have this Wednesday system next week. It doesn't look as pronounced here. There it is. It's Wednesday, December 7th. You get that burst of heavier snow. Doesn't look like any phasing yet. There's two pieces of energy. They just don't phase. But you get some snow up here into parts of the Northeast. There's our next system here diving down into the plains. This is going to be the precursor of what sets us up here. Let's take a look. Yeah, there's that trough digging up there with this system. Now, this is the key here. We got two pieces of energy. What happens along the coastline here? Well, let's take a look. Let's see how this sets up synoptically here. Well, there it is. 10th, 11th. Yeah, there it is. High pressure building into the north. So it's not that initial push, but it's the second push here. Here's that piece of energy coming out of the Ohio Valley. There's that low pressure system. Watch what happens here. This energy across the Appalachians and the Ohio Valley captures this low. Does it bring it up towards the coast? Or does it send it out to sea? That's going to be the big question. That's the $1 million question. Look at this, 962 millibars. If this does occur, this would be a massive storm. But so far, the GFS is keeping it out to sea. Except towards the end of the forecast period where it starts to retrograde it back towards the coast here. All right, so let's take a look at the Euro here. The Euro, the run that'll get us out the furthest. There's that Wednesday storm kicking off across the Northeast, high pressure building in. Now, there's that next system, our weekend system. There, it's pretty much a repeat of Wednesday's system, although, you know what? There's going to be less severe weather. There will be some severe weather, but it's not going to be like the massive outbreak of tornadoes that we saw. But don't get me wrong, there's still going to be some areas that may see tornadoes, but it's not going to be like explosive. Now, that system moves out to the east. Look at that. We have a clipper type system here into southeast Canada, high pressure building in across the Ohio Valley. Here's a piece of energy that we have to watch. There's an energy coming across the Rocky Mountains here. Let's see what happens with this. So this is Monday, December 5th. We got another piece of energy out here into parts of the Tennessee Valley. Now, that kind of congeals. The Euro takes a more northerly solution, bringing warm air up into New York and Pennsylvania, keeping those snowfall accumulations well up into Canada. So the Euro is warmer. The Euro has typically been warmer as of late. But look at that. There's another system. This is Saturday, December 10th. Ejecting out of the Mississippi River Valley here, and we get some snow, light snow accumulations up here into New York and Pennsylvania. And we kind of leave it at there. This is the 10th. The Euro's hinting that there could be, with this first push, what the GFS indicated it would be like really open wave type scenario and no phasing. The Euro may blow up a low here along the coast, and that might change that next system that's off the capability here, the time frame of the Euro that the GFS was showing. Definitely want to watch this as we go in time. All right, so as we take a look at total precipitation amounts here, yeah, it's mostly falling on Wednesday in the Northeast and the Southeast. Then we get another flare up here into Saturday. Take a look at this. Yeah, it doesn't really add too much on Saturday. Take a look. Let's just go through. It's adding about a quarter to a half an inch on average. So it's not going to be like the total carbon copy of Wednesday. You will see a lot of gusty winds with this system. Don't get me wrong. There it is across the south too. Yeah, the Tennessee River Valley here up into the Ohio River Valley. You probably get a half to 3/4 of an inch out of this as well. So there it is. There's your forecasted rainfall amounts. All right, so I wanted to show you for my Caribbean friends down here. I haven't forgot about you. Yeah, tropical season's pretty much over, but let me show you if there's anything to really worry about here in the, short to medium term. You got this northeast flow. This is really typical this time of year. So, we have some showers here around Jamaica. This is towards the weekend. But, as we go in time here, the intertropical convergence zone is pretty much sheared apart this time of year. So you really, you have some more cloudiness coming out of the northeast here. But, the Gulf of Mexico is clear as a bell over here. We do have some activity over here just east of the Lesser Antilles as we are towards Wednesday, December 7th out here. Let's just back this up. There we go. So, yeah, that pretty much gets sheared apart. You can see this time of year, you just can't get that sort of development. And look at that. We do actually get a cold front that actually spreads down into parts of Cuba, down towards Belize, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and eventually Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. Let's see how far east. This is with that massive East Coast system. Let me just back that up. Look at that. Yeah, look how close that could get to the U.S. East Coast there. That is quite interesting. Let's see how fast that... Look at that. Yeah, we could have some big heavy rain and storms with this system down and towards Puerto Rico, parts of the Lesser Antilles. Take a look at that, and that continues there in time, so those frontal boundaries can make it that far south. All right, the Western Pacific, I wanted to fill in all my friends here from the Philippines, South China, into Vietnam, Japan. I haven't forgot about all you, South Korea here. Take a look at this. It is clear as a bell here, initially here in the Philippines. You know, it's looking pretty good. Over here and towards South Vietnam, it is kind of stormy. And up here just north of Taiwan, you know, getting up towards Shanghai and South Japan here, it's actually looking a bit on the stormy side. But, you know, that's with a frontal boundary. That's not tropical. And we get some sort of tropical entity here just south of Bangkok. This is in the Gulf of Thailand that's heading westward here. Look at this by this time. The Philippine Islands look really clear this weekend until about Monday. We start to get some showers coming in with the trade winds coming in from the east there. And look at that. Initially, we do have a system that tries to make it into the area. This is some sort of tropical wave by Tuesday, December 6th, but watch this. As we go in time, this is not looking like much of a system until we get to Thursday, December 8th. It starts to pick up a little bit of steam here. You can see, let me zoom in here. This is the central part of the Philippine Islands. Take a look at that. So we might have some heavy rain. This is mainly, you know, south into the central part here of the Philippine Islands. So definitely want to keep an eye on this as we go in time. Let's take a look, see if there's anything on the horizon that bears watching, typhoon or tropical storm wise. I don't think that'll become a tropical storm. That's great news. And, you know, we get a few systems, but look at this. Look how nice and clear it is for the most part. We're definitely going to see a lull in the action here. And here we go. John from Skytop, Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Take a look at this. Yeah, it's looking pretty nice. You can still see a little bit of fall foliage off in the distance, looking pretty overcast though. Nice capture there, John. Kept capturing the essence of all the cold air too pouring down across the region. So this was this past Monday, the 28th. So nice capture there, John. All right, so let's take a look at temperatures here Thursday. You know, we have that cold wave behind the front here into the northeast. But watch this as we head towards the weekend. We're going to see that push of warmer air once again into the 50s. Upper 40s across interior New York and Pennsylvania. Look at this. So yeah, that surge of Arctic air kind of pinwheels eastward, but north of the U.S.-Canadian border. A little bit cooler behind it on Saturday across the northeast with that next system. But look at this. Sunday, it's not too bad. We're seasonably, you know, just slightly above average. So you can't complain. But look what's waiting in the wings here. We got single digits. This is Monday, December 5th. And this is going to try to make a slight push to the east here. But look at this. We're still right around 40 here into the northeast. All right, extended out from hometown viewers, Bangor to Scranton's Upper Susquehanna River Valley. Well, we are going to be looking at some colder temperatures, but we'll moderate towards the weekend, towards the lower 50s again, as we have a system that could repeat similar to Wednesday with gusty winds and heavy rains. Yeah, that clears out for Sunday into Monday. Yeah, we will see a period of tranquilness set up next week before we have that Arctic blast. Thanks for joining me for this edition of Meteor Marks Weather Northeastern. Don't forget, link is in the description down below for my winter outlook for this winter season. And also, if you want to buy me a coffee, tip jar also down below. You can find it down there. Also, Facebook Meteor Mark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern, and don't forget, MeteorMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com. Thanks for joining me.